Hello again. Welcome to CJ's Card Corner. Doing another video today. Wanted to talk a little bit about what my strategy looks like for investing and collecting and flipping. Everybody's always kind of curious about what everybody else does to try to decide what's best for them. So I thought I'd talk a little bit today about what makes me tick and how I do all of the things that I do. I know that the background's really lame, but I'll probably hang some stuff later this week since I'm starting to do a few more videos. But I wanted to start a little bit with what I invest in. So as you can see from the thumbnail on the video, I not only do sports cards, but I also do Pokemon. Pokemon's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I grew up collecting Pokemon cards. It's like super filled with nostalgia for me. And I love to not only collect cards, but I also love to collect sealed product as well as sports cards, like as you've seen in previous videos. But my strategy with investing is I invest in sealed product, and it's all about long-term investment. So I've got a ton of sealed product that spans the entirety of all of Pokemon, most of it being modern. But I've got like Fusion Strike and Brilliant Stars and some of the Sword and Shield sets when I got back in about 6 or 7 years ago. And then I've got a bunch of ETBs. I've got a lot of the new set Destined Rivals that came out late last year. And I love to collect the sealed product. I think they look really great. I'll probably have some here behind me on the wall eventually. And then I like to collect some of the bigger cards from different sets, like the Charizard EX from 151, and a lot of that kind of stuff. And those are all like long-term holds for me. I want to keep them as investments for either my retirement or for my two boys. And that future looks a little brighter because Pokemon is so popular. And right now is a really great time to invest in Pokemon and keep it long-term. It's not obviously the best prices, but since there's so many scalpers out there grabbing product off the shelf, sometimes it is tough to get product. But if you're not buying to rip and open, it's easier to get your hands on a little bit on the secondary market here and there. So I'm really into Prismatic Evolutions. I think that set is going to be awesome long term. So that's where my investment lies. I do a lot of short-term investing in prospects or players, which I kind of talked about in a previous video. So right now I'm really heavy on Andrew Painter for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm really heavy on Walker Jenkins for the Twins. I was pretty heavy on Connor Griffin, but I've now since kind of moved some of that investment into something else by selling some of his cards as his hype has hit just like top tier. I'm also really into Chase DeLauder, and those are kind of like my short-term investments. So I'm speculating on those players. So I buy them at a relatively good price since they're kind of down right now. And then once they get called up this year or do well in spring training, I'll probably sell. If they don't do well, I'll probably hold them a little bit longer. And if their careers kind of fizzle out, I might just take a loss and sell them for what I can. Otherwise, I will probably move on from them sometime this season and move into somebody else. I have a few prospects in mind that I really like and I'm excited about. I live in the Midwest, so there's a lot of Twins and Royals fans, so I tend to lean on some of those teams a little bit more for my short-term investments, and I can sell them pretty easily at card shows. Now that we've covered investing, when it comes to my collecting, I don't have a really large personal collection anymore. I've kind of changed my philosophy over the last couple of years as I've grown my business and my eBay store has grown. I started out having a small collection of cards that I kept for myself. I had them in a binder. I had some of those graded cards saved, hung them on my wall, those kinds of things. But I ultimately decided that the best course of action is to think of my entire collection as my personal collection, so I can move in and out of cards as I see fit. I can add cards to my collection as I sell cards and vice versa. It's easy for me to buy a card that I really like and then sell it or flip it and then buy something else that I really like. Not to say that everything I buy I like, because that just isn't feasible, because there's a lot of things out there that I buy that I am not a huge fan of. But I think of my entire inventory as my personal collection. And I've heard a lot of people talk about that. And I don't think that it's necessarily, there's not like a right way or a wrong way, but that inventory for me is kind of like, it's what brings me joy to look at and see grow, and see kind of hit my store and see people watching and asking me questions about the cards, asking to see more photos, sending me offers so that I can investigate competitive prices and see what things look like to sell or to keep or to hold. And I tend to lean a little bit more on keeping a little too long sometimes, but lately I've been trying to sell more of my inventory and move it when I can. So I'm kind of leaning into those kinds of things. Now, when it comes to flipping, my strategy is very different. So my strategy for flipping is churn and burn. So I'm all about buying a card and then selling it as quick as possible. If I make $5, I made $5. If it's a $300 card and I sell it for $305, that's awesome. It's $5 that I made right then and there. Obviously, you have to incorporate your shipping and your fees and all those things. But if I can make $5, I've made money. I'm happy. I move on to the next card. Put that money into inventory for something else. So I think that everybody's going to be different on how they approach their collections, their business, and their strategies. But for me, I like to diversify, and I think going into Pokemon for investing and doing sports cards for flipping is really natural for me. For one, because for sports cards, I'm really knowledgeable about different players, and I play fantasy sports, so I'm already deep into the minor leagues for baseball. I'm into the NFL draft for football, and it's like really simple for me to engage in those things. And I don't, with Pokemon, it's so simple because boxes just go up. A sealed product just continues to grow and get stronger, and there's no reason for me to say, well, I have to buy this set because it's really great, or this set because it's not. I don't want to buy this set because it's not so good. There's no right or wrong answer, at least from recent history with Pokemon. Even the sets that are not so good, from Sword and Shield, like even Brilliant Stars was not a great set when it first came out. People didn't really like it. They loved the trainer gallery, but they were so cheap. Now all of a sudden it's $350 a box, and we're talking about it like it's a really great Sword and Shield set. And I mean, us at the time, we all knew that because it had Charizard in it. But we're all unique in how we buy and collect. But when it comes to Pokemon, it seems like it's really simple. You just buy a sealed product, put it on a shelf, and it appreciates in value. Sports cards are not like that at all. They're a lot more difficult to move when it's a player that turns out to be not so good, or it's somebody who doesn't get playing time. A recent example is, I thought a no-miss prospect was Jason Dominguez with the Yankees, and I still think he's got all the talent in the world, but right now the Yankees are not giving him a chance to play, and we're talking about it like he may not even be a Yankee by the end of the season. And then without an injury to somebody like Stanton or Grisham or Judge, God forbid, one of those guys goes down, he may not get a chance to play. He might start the season in the minors. It's an ugly situation for us collectors who bought in on Dominguez, and I am unfortunately pretty deep into the Dominguez weeds, not only for my collecting but also for my fantasy team. So I think really what it comes down to is deciding where you want to be and what fits your strategy, your interests, and for me, it's a mixture of Pokemon and sports, specifically football and baseball. I like to do both, and I'll probably be talking about both on this channel. I know that's not super great for the algorithm, but I'm probably going to talk about both of them as time goes on, and discuss kind of what my strategies are with newer sets of Pokemon and with sports cards. So if you have something you're really interested in, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me all about what you're collecting and how you invest your money. I'd be very interested. I love hearing what other people do. It's one of the reasons that I absolutely adore this hobby, because in my opinion, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's all about what suits you and what interests you as time progresses. So I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Please like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing you in the next one. Thanks.